Okay, Chris, take a look at this. This is my connection piece to my O2 tank on the outside. I have a disconnect right here that allows me to just disengage and engage onto my bottle filler. My kegerator is a little different than most people's because I have it tucked underneath on some rollers. So I have a bunch of disconnects here that go to my 3-point housing. So what I usually do is I'll disconnect one of the housings and go straight into my bottle opener here. And then on the bottle opener, leave it in some sanitizer while I'm setting and adjusting bottles and capping them and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to probably switch it over to Alex. He's going to just show you, hold the camera while I'm filling a bottle for you just to see what it looks like. But this thing is awesome. So a lot of my local friends will try, want beer and stuff. And as you can see here, when it's completely full, you can see the top. There's no bubbles or residual bubbles, no overflow, no flattening of the beer because of the issue of trying to fill it just straight from the tap and not having the counter pressure. You have a hose that's connected, so you get the same PSI that you would get as the water or the beer's coming in. So therefore, it pressurizes on both sides, so you never get any of that headspace that you normally would get when you're trying to fill a bottle or a growler straight from the tap. So again, I'm gonna hand this over to Alex, and then as I'm doing it, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm not sure if you have one. If you do, and don't worry about it. But I was just curious, if you're interested in it, this is the process. It's super easy to do. Rolling. All right, Chris. Just like I said, Alex is holding onto the phone now, and so I'm tipping over. And as you can see, I've got nice clean bottles of sanitizer inside of my dishwasher. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this up with a little bit of sanitizer just to be safe, because you never be too cautious. So I'll give that a nice little spritz, nice little swirl, and then let that dump out. Once that's done, we're going to connect it onto the bottle filler. The bottle filler is just going to go right onto the top and connect right in. The key thing here is you want to make sure you squeeze down on the plunger, down onto the mouth of the bottle, and make it really tight, because if you don't, you'll hear hissing coming from the mouth, and it just allows way too much air to come out, and it depressurizes the bottle. I'm going to initialize the CO2 first, and you're going to hear a small hiss. And I've done that. And I'm going to disengage the pressure valve until you hear hissing. And as you can see, there's a little bubbles. I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but there are bubbles in there showing that it's engaged. And there's air or CO2 running in there. Once I feel comfortable that most of the CO2's out, or most of the oxygen's out and more of the CO2's in, I'm just going to switch that valve from the CO2 to the beer, which I'm doing right now. The hiss is going to continue again once the beer goes in, and if you do it right, you're going to see that there's very little to no head on there. And then you can control this simply by either the valve itself or the pressure valve. I usually do the pressure valve when I'm this low. I just tighten it up a little bit to where I don't hear the hissing as much, and then it slows it down a little bit. I open it up a little bit more if I need it to go faster to counter that. And I just watch the head. I just make sure it doesn't go up more than a couple millimeters at best. Once I start getting closer to the neck of the bottle, I just tighten that up until it stops. I slow it down a little bit. And then now I'm going to control it by the valve itself once I get about to the mouth of the bottle. Then I just shut it off. And then to disengage, I take my finger and I just kind of open a portion of the plunger as much as I can to kind of create that, stop that suction feeling. And then I open it up. If you do it properly, the head won't pop, you won't create a lot of head off the top. I set that right inside of my sanitizer. Grab sanitized lid. Place that right on top of the bottle right here. And of course, your cap popper on. I know there's oh, look at that rookie. I know there's a technical term for it, but there we go. But when you're on the fly like that, you don't always get the technical terms right. But as you can see here, very little head on I can't complain about this device. Of course, there's some learning curve to it at the beginning, but once you get past that process, you're like making bottles one after another. It takes you about a minute a bottle, and you just move on to your next. Because the nice thing about my service here is because I have the 3 different taps, I just have to disengage and go to my next beer when I want to, give it a small rinse to get that other beer flavor out, and then go ahead and go into the next beer, and I'm good to go. That's it.